Hi, who's joined the session? Perhaps you need just another minute for your audio to kick in. Hi, who's joined the session?
Hello, this is Elizabeth.
Hi, good evening. Who's joined the session?
Elizabeth Castano.
Hi, Elizabeth. How are you this evening?
Good, and you?
I'm doing well, doing well.
Good.
By my phone, it is 6:31. I think we have a small group this evening. I believe there are 10 people registered, so we'll just give it another couple of minutes and give people a chance to get settled and get in. Elizabeth, where are you joining from?
Were you able to hear my answer?
Oh, no, I didn't.
Oh, I'm not in mute. I don't know why.
What was your response? Where are you located?
Roxbury, New Jersey.
Oh, okay. Good, good.
Yeah. Are you in New Jersey as well?
I am, yes. I used to be based in West Orange, but I just recently relocated to Clifton. So
Okay.
figuring that all out.
Okay.
Hi, my name is Peggy Jefferson.
Hi, Peggy. Where are you joining us from?
I am joining you from Hackensack, New Jersey.
Okay, not too far away. Good to have you with us.
Thank you.
It looks like we have one more person that's joined. Not sure if their audio is working, but if it is, feel free to introduce yourself.
Hi, this is Edie Bear.
Hi, Edie.
I'm a volunteer with Dress for Success, and I work a lot with, I coach a number of clients and members, and I'm just very interested to hear what you have to say so I can pass it on to others.
Oh, wonderful. Great to have you, Edie.
Thank you.
It's 6:34. I'm going to give it one more minute because, as I mentioned, we did have a few more people registered. I promised to get you out on time. If we're a smaller group than was originally expected, maybe I'll even get you out a little early. So I will be respectful of your time, and I very much appreciate you being here this evening and, getting here on the half hour. So we'll just give it a few more seconds and we'll get started at 6:35. All right, we'll go ahead and get started. If you ladies are able, I'd really appreciate it. It would be nice if you would enable your cameras since we are a small contingent. It's nice to be able to see who I'm engaged with and not just talk to black boxes. Thanks, Edie. All right. All right. Well, there are just four of us, but that's okay. I've often used the term small but mighty. And I think that's what we will call ourselves today. I'll try to keep my eyes open for any other folks that do enter, and we'll go ahead and get moving. My name is Kim Lemon, and I'm your facilitator for this evening session on transferable skills. And so, as I've already stated, really happy to have you all here. I've been a volunteer with Dress for Success for, I don't know, it's probably at least 6 years now. And during that time, I've acted as both a coach and also a facilitator of workshops. Just a little bit about me. I am an executive coach and also a people strategy consultant. I have my own consulting practice and also am affiliated with a few large global talent firms. I've been doing this executive coaching work for about 15 years now. It has become my passion as my second career. And prior to being a coach, I worked in human resources in the financial services space for about 20 years. So enough about me. As we kind of get started, I think it might be nice to know who's in the room, so to speak. And so why don't we maybe just take a moment and do some introductions. I was wondering, maybe what your profession is or what your area of interest is, and also what brought you to this topic. What was it about today's topic that, piqued your interest, or what is it that you're hoping to get more insight on?
Do you want me to start?
Yeah, go ahead, Edie. I
Sure,
saw
okay.
Elizabeth came off mute, but you go first.
Oh, I already said a little bit of this.
No,
So
no, go right ahead.
I'm Edie Bear, and I have retired, but I had a long career.
Edie, we just lost your, for some reason, we just lost your volume. There you
Sorry.
go.
So I'm retired. I used to work on Wall Street. I worked at Moody's Investor Service for the last 15 years before I retired, managing groups of credit analysts in public finance. I also was the executive director of the New Jersey Healthcare Facilities Financing Authority and an investment banker also in the area of public finance prior to that. So financial services, very familiar. I said before, I'm interested in learning what you have to say so that I can help others, because I do a little bit of coaching through Dress for Success.
Great. Elizabeth?
Hi, my name is Elizabeth Castano. My background is in healthcare, nursing. So I worked in hospitals many years ago. Then I transferred over to the pharmaceutical field. So it's been about 16 years. So being that have a healthcare background, I am in the drug safety department. So I'm stuck. I feel like I'm stuck. Haven't gotten a promotion. More responsibilities are given to me. I love to learn, but I also like to be recognized. But I tried and I'm not getting anywhere. So I figure everything that I'm getting for this Dress for Success is going to help me, take me to another place where I can be learn more, and as well as get, compensated.
That's great to hear, Elizabeth. Congratulations on the promotions that you've gotten already. But I can appreciate that you're hungry for something else, something more, and the appropriate recognition.
Correct.
So, good for you. Hopefully you'll find this to be a good conversation to think about how to present yourself for those next opportunities, or to help you with making the argument for why your compensation should look different than how it looks today.
Thank you.
Mhm. Peggy, Mecca, want to do an intro?
I can. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Peggy. My name is Peggy, but I don't know if I'm visible or not because I'm not sure how to share my screen so you can see my
Okay.
face. But I'm going to go ahead anyway and introduce myself. Again, my name is Peggy Jefferson, and I've been employed for a substantial amount of years with United Parcel Service as an administrative assistant. And I've had various jobs and more on the people side. And I did enjoy the work, and I still do at times because I'm always incorporating myself with people in whatever situations or jobs that need to be fulfilled and looked at to be resolved. So I work a lot with management and as other admins that are there, we always collaborate and we share information and we look to work with each other on a daily basis. But for some reason, I have applied for other positions and I have graduated from University of Phoenix. And it's been some,
Congratulations.
thank you. It has been some years. And I'm looking now to go into another livelihood. So with the credentials that I do have, I'm familiar with the, Microsoft Office. I'm very comfortable with, but I'm really trying to get away from that because I really want to do something more in communications.
Okay, okay, great. So you're looking to make a career change, a shift. And transferable skills is definitely something that makes sense as you think about doing that. Thank you, Peggy. How about you,
Thank you.
Mecca?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, I do apologize. The device that I am on does not have a camera.
Mhm.
And I'm using my funky external microphone and stuff. So
No problem.
thank you. So I'm sorry, can you tell me what the question is that I need to
Yeah,
respond
we
to?
were just doing intros and we wanted to, of course, get your name, hear what your profession is or your area of interest, and what brought you to this topic of transferable skills.
My name is Mecca Adams. I am currently a supervisor for a finance and accounting system. And I am here because I want to get ready whenever the next opportunity presents itself. I do not want to be scrambling at that point, wondering. I just want to keep on top of
Hmm.
any skills, make any notes that I need to make. In addition, I'll do a plug for the Professional Women's Group, and any lady who's in here who wants to join a Professional Women's Group, you know, hi, we are here and we're ready to help you out. Hi, Edie.
Good, good. And we appreciate the little commercial also, right? Always putting in a good word for resources that are out there and available to us. Appreciate that, Mecca, and good to have you. Peggy, just FYI, I'm not sure, what kind of system you're on, but oftentimes if you sort of hover your mouse towards the bottom of the screen, you'll get, or the top of the screen, you'll get a toolbar, and that toolbar will show on the left-hand side, usually a microphone, and next to that should be a camera, and you might see a red line through the video camera. And if you
Okay.
click on the video camera, your video may come on. So there we go.
Can you
Gotcha.
see me?
We can see you.
Okay, great. Fantastic.
All right, wonderful.
Fantastic. Thank you.
Good, good. Okay, so great. It's great to hear that we've got folks here with sort of different interests, whether they're actively thinking about their next step and going into a completely different area, just wanting to be proactive and also looking for ways to do something different and help others. So I'm happy to have you all here, and hopefully this session's going to fit that bill for you. Now, I just have a question before we move forward. On my screen, the slide looks a little strange. Is that how it is? Okay, I'm Edie shaking her head. So let me just stop sharing for a moment. And I'm going to reshare, and hopefully that's going to resolve whatever's going on here. No, it's still really peculiar. That is so strange. So what I'm going to do is I'm not gonna list us in, I'm not gonna share it in slide view. I'm just gonna go ahead and share it in regular PowerPoint view, but I think that'll make it easier for you all to see. Yes? Good. All right. So we'll work with that. Maybe I can make it a little larger for you as well. All right, very good. And I think we've got Star has joined us. Star, are you able to hear us?
Yes, I hear you very loud and clear.
Okay, great. Well, we were just doing intros. Do you want to just quickly take 45 seconds and share with us what kind of position you're in or what career you're interested in and what brought you to this session?
Oh, no, not really. The field that I'm actually in is security. I do security. I'm at work actually now.
Okay, fantastic.
So I'm definitely here to learn, to gain a lot of knowledge, to learn, far as my further career, how to try to build skills to, work for, a better career in the future.
Mm-hmm. Great, great. So another person who's being proactive. I love it. I love it. Being proactive is better than, getting caught on your heels, right? So
Right.
I appreciate what you're saying. All right, so let's go ahead and launch into some conversation here. And this is going to be kind of interactive. So you all just, jump in as you would like. We don't need to do breakout rooms or anything like that since it's, just a few of us. But what do you think that employers want? What is it that they're, excited about? What do you think they're actually looking for, the hiring managers? From your experience, what do you think hiring managers are looking for? Yeah, Mecca, go ahead.
So they would be looking for someone who can fit into their group,
Mhm.
someone who can fit in to learn and already understand the majority of what's being done. They can train them for the minutia,
Mhm.
but they do want someone who has a lot of the capabilities that they're looking for. And in most cases, especially now, I see that they're looking for a lot of their soft skills that a lot of us possess.
So, you gave us a lot of good stuff in there, right? They're looking for capabilities, right? Very often you have to come to the table with certain things. They're looking for soft skills, and I think we'll definitely get into that this evening. And then you said they're looking for fit. So anything else you would say about fit? Because I think that's something that sometimes we don't recognize or realize is so important.
Well, I think it's a little tricky right now, frankly, because the term fit, even before I retired, we stopped using that word because it was kind of a way of saying we want people who were just like us. And the fact is we started hiring, a broad spectrum of people with different backgrounds and different levels of expertise and different perspectives. And I think that's more where we are now. So I just want to also add to Mecca's suggestions that as a hiring manager, I always looked for someone who demonstrated that they had done some homework about the job. What was the job? What was the company? I wanted to know that they knew why they were there.
Yes.
And also a certain energy and even eye contact was just very important.
Yeah, so that's a great point, speaking to diversity and inclusion and organizations looking oftentimes for the right fit, but the right fit might very well be someone who brings a different set of things to the table, right? To the team. To make that team more well-rounded, as opposed to making that team a group of people who are clones of one another or clones of the manager. A really nice thing I think Edie said had to do with bringing a certain amount of energy, right? Because there's a lot of competition out there. In many cases, when there's a job open, there are a lot of people raising their hands, expressing interest. And so it comes down to who really wants us, right? And do they really want to work for this particular organization and why that may be, as opposed to just having the capabilities or just having the skills. All right, so a lot of things that hiring managers might be looking for. Here are some things that were heard in a survey done about 2 years ago of hiring managers and employers and asking them, kind of what were they looking for. So to Edie's point, they wanted individuals who were results and performance driven, people who had a can-do kind of approach or attitude, you might say, right? Folks who want to make a change, want to help bring about innovation and improvement, so that they were the folks who seem to come across as wanting to take initiative or had some underlying motivation to not just do the basic, right? Not just do the required, but also to exceed expectations and do above and beyond, right? And so that's very oftentimes what we commonly hear from hiring managers about, what it is that they're thinking about and what it is they're looking for. So how do you then go about conveying some of these things that they're looking for and making the compelling story for them that helps them to say, hey, yeah, I'm really interested in Elizabeth. I'd love to have Peggy on my team. Star is the kind of person, or Mecca is the kind of person that we need. And what we'll talk about today is skills. And we're going to unpack skills. We're going to look at skills from a number of different angles. At some point, you might even go, what? you have another question on this, Kim, but it's so important that you be clear on what it is that, as I like to say, you bring to the party, so that as you're talking with hiring managers, as you're networking with others and broadening your network, you are able to tell your story and shape the story and shape their views of what it is that you have the potential to bring. So let's go ahead, and what I've done is I put in the chat box an attachment, which is just a little bit of a participant guide. So you can download that onto your computer if you'd like. You can sort of use it as a tag along, maybe split screen and, enter some things. It's a Word document, so you can just enter some things as we go along, and you can print it out later. If you'd like to do some more thinking and also do some more work around what we're talking about this evening, because we're only here for, 90 minutes. So the first thing I want you to really give some thought to is how you would describe yourself. When you think about what your personal attributes are, what is unique about you, what are some of the ways that you would describe yourself? So I'm going to put this slide up on the screen, and I want you to take a moment now, and let me make that just a little smaller, maybe. Yep. And I want you to take a look, if you can, at the list. This list is not intended by any stretch of the imagination to be anything you could possibly think about, but it's just there as a prompter to maybe give you some descriptors, some attributes that people sometimes point to about themselves. And I want you to take just a minute and a half to think about, I'm going to make it a little larger for you, to think about what are some of the ways that would best describe your attributes? What are some of the things that it would be maybe interesting and helpful for people to know about your personality? Take a look at the list, see if some words here resonate with you. And don't feel like you have to stick to this list because, as I said, it is not a comprehensive one. It is just one to kind of get you started. I'm going to put my timer on. I'm going to give you a minute and a half to give some thought to this, and then we'll have some discussion and see what you came up with. You're about at the halfway point, so you've got about 40 seconds left. And welcome, Vivian. Good to have you with us. All right, so you can give some more thought to this following today's session, but what things came up for you? What are some of the attributes that you have? What are, in your top 5 list?
Can I go? I don't.
Yeah, absolutely. Go for it.
Okay. I wanted, some of them may be similar. Some of the words that I did come up with may not be exactly here, but I'm sure that a lot of them do pertain to what you do have on the list. But I thought of the first thing for myself as an outgoing person. I always was reliable, and this plays in both parts of my character, as far as my personal life and my work life. I consider myself accountable, a go-getter,
Mhm.
and a hard worker.
Nice. Thank you for that, Peggy. And I'm glad that you found some words that really resonated with you, because the list, like I said, isn't, it's not the end all and be all. It's not the bee's knees, as they like to say. And so what I really want you to be doing is thinking about what resonates with you and what really describes you well. How about someone else?
I I also think of myself as accountable.
Mhm.
I like challenge. I think because I have the background in nursing, I always have to think out of the box.
Mhm.
And I also work well under pressure. So I'm very flexible and multitasking. I like that. If I don't have challenge, I get bored.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
So that's me.
That's you, right, right. And so that's why you're one of the reasons why you're looking for that next thing that also will compensate you and, show value, right? Because
Yeah, I
you
like
don't.
always to keep learning. I know some people like to do A, B, C, D,
Mhm.
not get out of the comfort zone. I'm
Mhm.
the opposite. I like to
Mhm.
challenge, solve problems, and yeah, working well under pressure.
Mhm. Mhm. How about one more person?
I can go. I feel like I'm an independent woman,
Mhm.
personal and in the workforce as well. Um,
Mhm.
executive being an executive assistant, I can work well with a team, with others, or on my
Mhm.
own when given those kind of tasks. I'm a great listener, and I'm very knowledgeable on what I know. The type of work that I know. So I feel that when a manager or a, you know, CEO or anybody would give me any type of work, I know that I can take that project, take the ball, and just get it done.
Mhm.
Sometimes you do have to ask questions because you don't want to assume.
Mhm.
And I also like to, like Elizabeth is saying, multitasking. I get bored with the same old, same old. I like change. I
Mhm.
like to be
Mhm.
challenged.
Fantastic.
It makes me feel, that I'm valued, that I'm a good value. I don't even know if that's a word, that I'm valuable to a company.
Yes. Now, see, isn't it so interesting? We only had 3 people just kind of chime in really quickly, but you'll notice that there's a good amount of variation in how one person sees themselves and another person sees themselves. There's a little bit of overlap here and there with, like accountability or challenge versus multitasking, thinking out of the box, those kind of things. There's a little bit, but there's a lot of diversity in how you all have answered. And so a lot of times, we don't stop to think about these attributes about ourselves because we sort of take them for granted, right? Oh, well, I like to learn. That's probably true of most people, or that's not necessarily the case. And so when you're shaping the story for others about who you are, right, and talking with them about your skills and what you bring, it's really important for you to really think about these things so that you can talk about them and help them to understand what you're going to add, right? How you're going to fit in, what else you might bring to the pie or the puzzle. If you struggled with this at all, what I would say to you is that sometimes it's that humility, right? We're so humble that we're, reluctant to think about what makes us unique or what makes us us. And so what I would say is, don't let that humility get in your way. What you can also do is think about what you've heard from others, right? So in your current role or in a previous role, what did your manager say about your personality and your characteristics? What did your peers or colleagues say? What did the other nurses have to say? Or, what did the doctors say? What did the CEO's direct reports say to you about, what you bring to the table and something they noted about you, right? So if you're a little stuck, you can also think in those terms. And sometimes that's really helpful in allowing you to really own all it is that you actually do bring. All right. So we've got a couple of, your top 5 or your top few items that speak to your characteristics, right? Your personality, if you will. The next thing that I want you to give some thought to is not just about how you would describe yourself along those lines, but also what are the things that you value, right? What is it that sort of gets your head up off the pillow and motivates you, to go to work, to go do what you have to do and contribute? So I'm again going to provide you with a little bit of list just as a prompter, but think about, what some of the values are that are important for you. Again, I'll give you 90 seconds. You can peruse the list, but you also can, just go inward and see what feelings are coming up and what you're thinking. And I want to welcome Tona to this session. Am I pronouncing your name correctly?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, great. Good to see you. Good to have you this evening.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
About 20 seconds left, ladies. Okay, once again, if you didn't come up with your top 5 or you feel like if this was rushed, because it is, you can come back to this later. Before I ask you all to share a bit about what you came up with, why do you think it's important for you to be clear on your values? Why is it useful for you to have a good idea of what your values are?
Say,
Yeah, go ahead, Elizabeth.
I think because that way, if you know the company values, first, you know if it's compatible with your own values, and that way you feel like you are going to be valued, and also the work environment. So there will be a balance.
Mhm.
That's my feeling. I don't know. And of course, wherever you go, there's diversity. So also, I think nowadays it's very important to have a balance with diversity. So
Mhm.
that way, you are respected, and then you respect others.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah, so you're showing your hand a little bit, right? About some of the things that you value, right? Diversity, perhaps being one of them, because if diversity is there, it signals something to you, right? It lets you know something about the organization. Anyone else? What would you add?
Could you repeat the question again? I'm sorry.
Yeah, why do you think it's important for you to understand or be clear on what your values are? You know, in what way is that helpful to you?
Well, I I want to say that you want to like, what you do and what you're good at, and you want to express that. That's why, we come, to our livelihoods, our work, our destinations of work. Um, you want to value that because you want to let the employer know that you like, or you're productive, and you have, something to give to the corporation. So you want to know that, what you perform is valued, and you want to I would hope, at least I would want to share and let him see that, hey, I want to be a part of this company by showing you my performance at, such a great, way
Mhm.
of doing my work. And maybe this can open up other avenues, or other doors for you there.
Yeah, yeah. So I like that, Peggy, because you're talking about sort of demonstrating the value that you bring. And that is extremely critical that you be able to do that in your work. And if you're looking for a new opportunity to be able to talk with people about, provide them with sort of examples of how you've done that, how you bring value. But the question that I'm really going after here is what you value, right? Um, and I think it sort of goes back to a bit of what Elizabeth was saying, is because if you don't know what you value, then how can you really make a good choice or a good decision about where you decide to hang your hat, right? How can you feel, confident or have some confidence that, well, it's worth me moving on from this opportunity and taking this one, right? How do you know that you're making a good decision? So knowing what gets your head up off the pillow in the morning, what it is that you value, what motivates you is super important, because it's not just about the employer or the hiring manager deciding if they want you, but it's also about you making the decision of whether you want that experience and if that experience is right for you at this time, at the place that you're, in your life or in your career. So talk to me, you all. I'd love for a couple of people to come off mute and tell me what are some of the things that you came up with in terms of your values.
I put family.
Okay. Mhm.
I would think life, what is it? Trying to balance life and work at the same time.
Yep, work-life balance. Yep.
Yep. Work-life balance. I
Mhm.
put commitment, independence, and accomplishment.
Mhm, mhm. Yeah. So the first thing you mentioned, Vivian, is work-life balance and family. So as you're looking for opportunities, say another opportunity, in your organization, or if you were considering going, picking up your purse and everything and your box and going somewhere else, what kinds of things might you want to know as it relates to that value of family and work-life balance?
Well, I mean, is the work environment, the company, is it flexible? I don't know, somebody, I don't know if it was Ms. Jefferson or Elizabeth who said, to be flexible.
Mhm.
Also, I know after COVID, a lot of companies, a lot of them are hybrid, a lot of them are even remote. Just being able to have that flexibility, I think is, for me at least, it's a plus. And just being able to work in a positive, non-toxic environment, of course. But I mean, you won't know that until you get there, right?
That's right.
But yeah, I mean, so my thing for family is the balance that out and making sure that that company does value that.
Mhm. Yep. So to your point, you don't get the full story or the full view until you're actually there.
Mhm.
But if you know that that's a value of yours, something that's important to you, you can ask questions. You can take a look at information on their website
Yes,
and,
yes.
and
A lot of
get a
a lot of the
feel,
companies
right?
also have I guess if you go to the website, they have like their benefits package. They
Mhm.
tell you, how much vacation time you get and
Right.
and all that stuff. So that to me, at least to me, it's very important.
Mhm. Star, you were going to say, I saw you come off mute. Go ahead.
Forgive me, you guys. I'm at work, so I have a lot of people talking. So I
Oh,
keep
okay.
coming on. But I did want to. I had a couple. I'm gonna
Mhm.
go over them very quick. I put family, brave, kindness, loyalty, security, leadership, power, flexibility, and passion.
Nice, nice. So I'm going to ask you a couple of questions.
Okay.
When you talked about leadership, what was coming up for you when you thought about leadership? Why is
Like
that a value?
leadership. I've been doing security for, let's see, over 7 years. And it's just like, security, a post,
Mhm.
at this site for a year, 2 years, and then maybe on to the next site. So leadership, moving up the ladder. What can I do next to move myself? So my thing is I have my Sora. Now next to be higher, how about you go get your Twix? How about you go apply for your gun permit? So that's leadership. That's working my way up the
Mhm.
ladder, like flexibility, making myself flexible to the job, making it open. So then, when the opportunity is open on more hours, I made myself flexible. So
Mhm.
that was something. Power,
Mhm.
trying to create power over, my family and over my job, being a single mom. So
Mhm.
that's another one. Being, kindness to people, especially in the field that I work in. And even now in the economy that we is, it's all about being kind to one another and helping one another out. Everybody's, so stuck in a hard time. It's like they forget about the kindness that you have to be to one another, to be
Yeah.
able to, work with one another, or to be able to help one another, so
Mhm.
that was
Good. I hear that. I mean, that's why we're experiencing the great resignation, right? A lot
Right.
of people have left their jobs because they're like, customers aren't kind, or
Yeah.
my boss isn't kind, or, those kinds of things. Why should I subject myself to these
Right.
things? And we oftentimes don't think about our demeanor and our behavior towards one another as colleagues. So I appreciate you, bringing that up. And then the leadership piece you're saying very much speaks to, opportunity for growth, because that's ultimately a part of your desire, or your plan. Okay, good. So we heard from a couple of people about, what their values are. Again, we came up with, some overlaps, right? People looking for flexibility, and, family being important to us as women who may be heads of household, or, just on our own path, right? But there was a lot of diversity in the couple that we heard as well. And so I encourage you to think about what it is that you value, right? What's really important to you? What helps you to be enthusiastic about your work? And what helps you get your head up off the pillow and go to work on those days when, maybe it's a little harder. Because if you can find an opportunity, if you can find an employer, if you can find a situation that helps to satisfy and address those values, then you're going to likely have more gratification, more satisfaction in what you're doing. And once you've got an idea of what those values are, you can start to be curious and ask questions to find out if that opportunity, in fact, is going to help satisfy those things or not. Is it a good place for you to be looking to go to? All right, so we've talked about attributes, how you would describe yourself. We've talked about values, what's important to you. I want to just switch gears a little bit and talk for a couple of minutes about KSAs. And KSAs are something that people sometimes are, a little curious about, or they're unsure about. Whoopsie. So let me just put this up and see if I can make this where you can all see it. Yep. So KSAs, KSA is an acronym for knowledge, skills, and abilities. And in telling your story, in talking with the hiring manager and doing some networking, one of the things that you also want to be able to do is, give them a well-rounded view of who you are. Sometimes we talk about the skills that we have, and skills are demonstrated proficiencies, right? Perhaps they are something that you've gotten as a result of training. Perhaps they're something that you've developed as a consequence of being in a place and learning on the job. Skills are the first thing that we oftentimes think about. But it's also important for us to be able to consider what knowledge we have, right? Knowledge is all about, the information that you have, the understanding that you've gained over the course of the years as a result of sometimes your education and sometimes as a result of your experiences, right? So what knowledge do you possess that may be valuable in a situation that helps inform how you go about doing things? You may have that as a result of your education, certifications that you've gotten, training that you've
I
attended.
actually,
But it's important for you also to think about and be prepared to talk about your knowledge. So it's knowledge and skills. And then the last thing is your abilities. Abilities sometimes are things that people take for granted. Hey, Shelby, if you would just put yourself on mute while you're in listening mode, we'd appreciate it. We're getting a little background noise. Thank you. So these abilities oftentimes come about just because they naturally are things that you have been able to do, right? You know, I mean, maybe just as a kid, you were just, you know, naturally really good at math. It just came to you quickly, right? You never struggled with it. And as a consequence of that, it's enabled you to develop additional skills, or you have more knowledge on a topic. But it's also good to give consideration to and think about what your abilities are, right? I heard someone say something about one of their skills being listening, right? Listening is something that not everybody's good at, right? Some people would much rather be talking, or as much as they try to listen, they're always thinking first about what they're going to respond or what they're going to say next. And so they're not the greatest listeners, right? That might be something that is as an ability that it just comes to you naturally based on your own personality, and it's a natural aptitude. So don't forget about those natural aptitudes, because they bring value and are important as well. All right, so when we think about KSAs, I'm going to have you do a little bit of an activity. And I want you to sort of ask yourself, what is it that I'm really great at? You know, maybe I'm great at this because, you know, I went through the training, or I attended the class, and I studied really hard. I've done a lot of reading, or maybe this is something that I'm really great at just because I have that natural inclination and ability. But, you know, what is it that you're really great at? What skills and abilities do you possess? And, you know, what really comes to you easily that you don't have to give a lot of thought to, right? The reason I'm having you really give this thought is because I want you to be confident about what you bring to the table, right? I want you to feel good about what it is that you have to offer, because what you believe about yourself is going to show through and come through to others in what you say to people, right? If you believe it, they're going to believe it, right? They're going to sense that you believe it and that they should believe it too. And if you believe it and they start to believe it, then that enables your overall presentation with them, your credibility with them, to be that much stronger. And people will respond to you based on what it is that you're putting forward to them. So here's the exercise. I'm going to have you take just a couple of minutes to get this started. Again, this is an activity that you can do post-session. And think about what your knowledge is, what skills you possess, and also what abilities do you have just because you are who you are. Then I want you to just take a little note about, you know, how do you use that particular area of knowledge, skill, or ability? You know, where does that come into play? And then we'll have a little bit of a conversation about that. So this requires you know, a couple of steps. So I'm gonna give you just a little bit more time. I'm gonna give you 2 minutes of independent thought, and then we'll do some sharing. So you're at the halfway point. You've got another minute. I decided to give you just a little bit more time. So you've got about 30 more seconds. Okay, so just to break it up a little bit, so the activities don't get too trite, I'm going to send you all off into breakout rooms. You're going to partner with one person. And what I want you to do when you get into the room with them is just talk with them about one knowledge, skill, or ability that you came up with, and just talk with them a little bit about where you've actually put that into play, where have you used that, and how do you use it, right? I'm going to give you 4 minutes for this, so you're going to have to be, kind of concise. That means you each have 2 minutes to talk, and then I'll bring you back into the main room. And Edie, since we're an odd number, I put you in to partner with one person, which means that the person partnering with Edie can talk for the full 4 minutes if she doesn't have something she wants to share, if she's got her coach hat on today. All right, so I'm going to give you all 4 minutes. I'm going to send you off into the rooms now. And as I said, just pick one and talk about, how you have used it and where you've used it.
Kim, you gave the breakout rooms a lot of time, so I don't know. Okay, bringing them in. Great.
Okay.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi.
We're back.
Some people don't want to leave.
I did. Would that be us? I said they did it nicely, and then they said they're going to do it the mean way. And
Right,
make you come
right.
back.
Well, yeah, I didn't realize that it was set on a timer, a 2-minute warning timer.
Mm-hmm.
So it gives them another minute if they don't respond to my message. But while we're waiting for the other two teams to come back, let's see, Shelby and Peggy. How did that go? What did you take away from that conversation?
I've taken away us being in the work atmosphere where you are speaking with people, you're communicating, your job consists of it, you're helping others, and you have the knowledge now, since you have been doing it, how to approach, how to research, your work, and it makes you have the skills and the ability to perform the job.
I like that. So a reminder that you got the package.
Yes.
Right? You've got the package. So you can talk with people about that, right? What you bring. Shelby, anything you would add?
No, I think she summed it up pretty well.
Okay. Star and Edie, how did that go? What's something you took away from that conversation?
Here we go.
Star, what were you going to say?
Oh, I'm here. Oh, there I go. Okay. This I learned a lot from Miss Edie. I was actually on tour, so I couldn't really understand. Like I said, I'm at work, and this is my first time. So I did like I said, my security job. I've been doing this for over going on like 7 years. So I am trying to, move up the ladder and go to a serious career, maybe correction officer, law enforcement. So my goals and my strategies are, I am a reliable person, I'm a resourceful person, I am accountable person, I'm a happy person. I don't know. Nice to say.
Nice. So very clearly, it sounds like who you are and what you can talk with others about that would make you a good candidate for that next step. Right? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Vivian, Tona, how'd it go with you all?
It went well. I was telling Vivian that I'm in my car and it's kind of dark because I'm waiting outside for my son at his soccer practice. But we had a good conversation, talking about skills and abilities. And she is like a jack of all trades, with extensive experience as an administrative assistant. So with scheduling and managing, various offices, and for, administrators, people in senior level positions. Those are some great skills, right? Speaking, effective listening, being able to manage multiple calendars and appointments and projects and things like that. So we had a great conversation about that, My background is in healthcare, so I kind of also deal with a lot of teaching, listening, and I realize that even though we come from different industries, we have some common skills and abilities, right? Because
That's
the
right.
ability to communicate verbally, right, and in writing, and also to be able to help manage conflict and to hold confidentiality. That's another, strong skill, even though it may not be considered a skill, but you have to have the knowledge of what's confidential and be able to
Yes.
maintain that, right, throughout
Knowledge,
your
exactly.
interactions.
Yes,
So that's a
I
big
love
one
that,
too.
Tona. I think that's great. You gave me a great segue to like my next slide. We mentioned that you have transferable skills, even though you're in very different roles or different industries. But before I go there, let me just check in with Mecca and Elizabeth. Anything that you all took away from your conversation?
We talked about, and I think it's important, being organized and critical thinking. Her job and my job, they both seem to be solving problems like yesterday, meeting timelines, tight timelines. So critical thinking, being organized, being able to delegate, and help others. Like I think Mecca, the business unit that she helps is to resolve, to get projects completed. So that critical thinking and delegating, organizing, and being able to get those timelines.
Yeah, okay. All right, good. So similar, again, in different spaces and different environments, but skills that are relevant in either. And so those are great ahas or reminders, because we also need to be mindful of what job skills we have that are transferable. Right. So, a couple of people talked about moving to the next level, whether it's from security guard to, security guard supervisor, or to, patrol officer, or, whatever the case may be. There are skills that you would want to be able to communicate that you can transfer from what you're doing today to what you're being considered for, or what you want to do tomorrow. And so the thing that I want to point out to you around this, as you think about what transferable skills you have, is that you should not limit your thinking to just your current role. Okay. You should also consider previous experience. You should also consider other aspects of your life. Right? I don't know about you. It seems like a couple of folks in the session today have kids. I was a PTA secretary at one point, in my life when my kids were younger for a couple of years. And there are some skills, or there's some knowledge or an ability that I applied even in that role. So, if you are active in your sorority, or you're involved in some way in your church or some other organization, if there's something else that is occurring in your life, make sure you point your attention to those things as well, because oftentimes we are developing skills, or we are demonstrating skills in other aspects of our lives that our current role or our current boss might not be aware of. And it's important for you to look at yourself holistically. All right. So think about, what skills do I have that are also transferable to the type of opportunity that I want to gauge for the future. All right. The thing that you should do is really list every skill that you have. Right? Do a nice laundry list, if you will, and consider what all of those skills are. And then, as we did in the previous exercise, how did you acquire them and where did you use them? And then think about, of all these skills that I do have and the knowledge that I have, which ones do I really want to apply? Which ones do I want to use? Because it's very possible that you have a number of skills that maybe you don't want to use anymore. Like, I'm a skilled people manager, right? I've had responsibilities for managing others in my career, but right now, you couldn't pay me enough to be responsible for other people, right? I want to be an independent contributor. So once again, it's important to know everything that you have to offer and then be able to cull it down to what skills, abilities, knowledge do I want to apply? Am I excited about being able to use? And that will allow you to have some conversations with people to see how those things are going to match up with their needs. Right? Because that's very important. So really put together a full, robust list of what it is that you have amassed over your life and your career, and then cull it down to what is it that I really want to bring to the table now. What are your core strengths? Remember, I told you we were going to cut this thing into a whole bunch of different pieces. Well, here's one other question for you to consider. What are your core strengths based on your profession or your current job? This is really helpful if you are planning on or interested in staying in the same industry that you're in right now, staying within the same function that you're in right now, staying within the same overall career path that you're currently in. Because oftentimes there's a stacking of those skills, right? Many of those skills continue to be relevant and necessary. So think about what your core strengths are based on the job that you have today in your current role. And if in particular you want to stay in the same path or same profession, how those things are relevant to what your next step might be. And if you're not sure how they're relevant to what that next step might be, this provides you with the opportunity to have a good conversation with a mentor, or a good conversation with a sponsor, or a good conversation with your boss about how those core strengths that you do have will benefit you or benefit the organization as you look at what your next opportunities and next step might be. So I would say come up with, your top 5 along these lines as well, your core strengths within your profession. So we're coming down to our final minutes of the program today. And there are a couple of things that I would say as we are coming to the close. There are a few more things that you really should be thinking about. And those things are things like, what are the most challenging projects or aspects of your job that you have had to tackle, right? And what enabled you to be successful in those situations? These are important things for you to think about in advance of talking to others, because it gives you a chance to really bring someone in, give them a realistic picture of how you operate, how you make decisions, how you react to certain situations, how you behave in the moment. Because that's what oftentimes hiring managers are interested in knowing. You know, if she's in this kind of situation, I wonder how she would perform, how she would respond, how she would react. So think about, so that you're prepared to talk about what some of the biggest challenges are that you faced and what decisions you made around it and what action you took. Now, I see in chat someone asked a question about what the difference is between a mentor and a sponsor. So thank you for that question. Let me just take a moment to distinguish the two for you. A mentor is someone who oftentimes is a couple of steps, or sometimes even one step ahead of you in terms of your career path, right? So a mentor could be someone who is a nurse manager if you're a nurse, right? A mentor could be someone who, heads up the accounting department if you are a team leader, within that accounting group. A mentor is someone who is a couple of steps ahead of you, but they have already been in your shoes. They've already been in the type of role that you're in. Mentors oftentimes have that perspective, and therefore they're great resources for helping you to sort of think through things that you're encountering and challenges that you're experiencing. They can share with you what their experience has taught them. Sometimes your mentor is, in fact, your manager. Sometimes we have those kind of relationships with our managers where you can talk with your manager kind of candidly and openly about challenges and issues. But oftentimes, even if your manager is your mentor, I highly recommend that you have another mentor as well. Because sometimes you might need to talk with somebody about your manager, right? So having at least more than one mentor is a good practice. Now, I've said that oftentimes a mentor is someone who has been in your shoes and they're a couple of steps ahead of you. That's the norm. But a mentor could very well be someone who is in a different industry or a different role or on a different career path. So that is possible too. But once again, they're giving you the benefit of their experience and helping you to think through what's going on in your career. A sponsor is someone who oftentimes is more senior. A sponsor is someone who is at a stage in their career where they have some power, right? They have power to put your name in the hat for an opportunity. They have influence in your organization where they can make a recommendation that someone talk with you, do networking with you, that sort of thing. So a sponsor is typically someone who has influence and power, and they're not necessarily in your career path, but they bring influence and they can act as advocates on your behalf. So that would be the difference. All right, so now think about what challenges you've experienced. Think about what skills you've mastered. And again, what are some examples of that? Think about a few of these questions on this slide, because when you talk with others, you're going to have an opportunity very often, based on some question that they ask you, to launch into conversation, which helps them to better understand who you are and what you bring to the table. Now, in closing, what I would say to you is this. You can put this all together by sort of referring to this chart. Once you have an idea of what your strengths are, your knowledge, skills, and abilities, then you can start to have conversations with others about how those knowledge, skills, and abilities line with, match, and intersect with some of the things that you're thinking about doing. And if you're talking to a mentor or a sponsor, they can also help you with understanding where you might have some gaps, what things you might need to actually do next. If you're aspiring to become a police officer and get your gun permit, maybe that mentor, based on you sharing where you are now and what knowledge, experience, skills, and abilities you have, what things you need to do next in order to make that next step. You can also take that information and then look at other employers if you're so inclined to maybe make a move and think about, well, given my values, what organizations are out there that maybe might satisfy my values? Given my skills and abilities and my knowledge, what organizations might benefit the most from those things? And that can help you with putting together a target list of companies that you might want to look at and do some networking with. Right? So that's all I have for you all today. I know that we are at the 8 o'clock hour. I appreciate you making yourselves and your professional development a priority this evening and joining me. And I hope that you found this session of some value to you. It's been my pleasure to be with you all today, and I look forward to running into you at Dress for Success or virtually at another Dress for Success event.
Thank
Take
you.
care, everyone.
Thank you.
You as
Thank
well.
you.
Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Have a good evening.
Have a good night.
Bye-bye.
Did you,
Thank
before
you.
before we sign off, were you able to see my question in the chat?
Oh, I did not. So thank you, everyone, for joining. And if you have a question, you're not required to stay, but I'm happy to stay a couple of minutes over if there are some outstanding questions. So let's see, Shelby, your question was about receiving a copy of the PowerPoint presentation. I think that is something that they will furnish to you. I'll check with Willa to find out what the intentions are, but I did include in the chat what I just put together as a participant guide. Did you see that?
I did not.
All right, let me put that in chat again, because the participant guide has most of the slides that were presented today with, you know, like the exercises, the thought process that I had you all go through. So let me just give me a moment, because I closed that document, but I will find it for you. And then I'm going to go ahead and put it in chat for you one more time. Any other questions? Anything else that I can help folks with?
That would be marvelous, because my alarm did not go off, so I was late.
That's okay. All right. Well, again, it was my pleasure being with everyone. I'm grabbing that for you right now, Shelby, and it'll be in the chat in a second. And I hope
Okay,
you
thank
all
you.
have a good evening.
You too.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
All righty. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Okay, so where is my? So
Do you
I
see
do
the chat feature, Shelby?
I do see the chat. I see my
Mhm.
chat to you, but I don't see.
Okay, go to everyone, because I did chat it to everyone.
Okay, so let me send to.
Let me chat it to you directly, just in case you're having a problem.
Okay, everyone, there we are.
You see it?
No, it said I'm in everyone, but
No?
no,
Okay.
not yet. I'm in everyone, but I'm not able to see it.
All right, let me see if I can. Some reason it doesn't, the way it's set up, it doesn't seem to want to allow me to send it to you individually. It only wants the host to send things, I think, to everyone.
So let me see
So,
if I say hello to everyone.
okay.
Okay, so maybe now that I said that to everyone,
Uh-huh.
then it will let you reply.
All right, I'm going to give it one more try.
Good old college try. I like that, especially the last slide that talked about your competency brand.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Okay, do you see it now? No?
No,
Shelby, do you
Mm-mm.
have an email that I can
I
send it to you?
do.
Okay, tell me
I
what your
do.
email is.
It's S as in Sam, R as in Robert, Mobley, Mobley 01@gmail.com.
Okay, I'm going to send that off to you as soon as we end, okay?
I appreciate it and thank you very much.
You're very welcome. My
You have a good
pleasure.
evening.
You too.
Bye-bye.